Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Kindly like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to be able to motivate me. When you subscribe, we grow together, and when we grow together, it inspires me to keep teaching data analysis. So in today's session, we shall look at correlations analysis in SPSS. So correlation, it measures a simple relationship amongst variables. It measures how much linear is the relationship of the two variables. So correlations work specifically for the two variables. So here we are provided with car sales data. So we can go to the Analyze tab, correlate, we choose the bivariate correlations. So we can try to determine what variables determined the sales or the prices of the cars in this station. So we can first determine our first dependent variable. So here we have our variables, we have sales in thousands, so could make sales to be our dependent variable. So we can look at other factors which will determine the sales. So we could look at the price, look at the engine size, the horsepower, the cab weight. So we could select these and select which could be able to influence the sales and prices. So we could be able to return this, return this. So it could be with these variables maintaining our sales in thousands as our dependent variable, and these as our independent or predictor variables. So in our options, we could enable to be able to get some statistics on means and standard deviations. Then in the confidence intervals, we could be able to enable estimate confidence interval by variate correlation parameter. So you could enable it here, continue. So here we have the correlationship coefficients, and Pearson is used for parametric analysis, whereas Kendall's and Spearman's coefficients are for non-parametric analysis. So in this case, we shall do a parametric analysis, so we shall choose the Pearson coefficient. So after then the test of significance, we shall go two-tailed. Then we can enable flag significant correlations. So the significant correlations will be shown out. Then we can press OK. So now what we should be able to do is to understand how to read the correlationship matrix in the output window. So these are our descriptive statistics which we've had. So n is the number of count of the elements. So here we go to our correlations. So you can double click in the chart to open it. So hovering around. So that's how our correlation results will appear. So now we shall be able to see how to interpret them. So here we have these stars. So this first star shows correlation is significant at a 95% confidence level, and the one star shows that the correlation is significant at the 99% confidence level. That's what those two stars stand for. So you can only look at the relationships of two variables in a correlationship. So this Pearson correlationship measures the amount of relationship between the variables. So correlation is a mutual relationship or connection between two variables. So when it's negative, it shows that the relationship between the two variables is in the opposite direction. And positive shows that the relationship between the two variables is in the same direction. So this correlation is always between -1 and +1. So when it's at 1, the strength is perfect. When it's between 1 and 0.75, it's a strong relationship. When it's at 0.5, it is moderate. That's between 0.5 to 0.75. Then between 0.25 to 0.5, it is weak. When it is at 0, there is no relationship. So if it's a -1, that's a perfect negative relationship. And when it's positive 0.5, that's a moderate positive relationship. So it's all about being able to interpret the negativity and positivity of these correlations. So here, since Z is in thousands, here it's against itself, so that's a perfect relationship since it's the same variable against each other. So here it's how it appears. So we can be able to, it's a reflection of the upper triangle, so we can be able to turn off the upper triangle to be able to interpret it correctly, so we can able to show only the lower triangle. So yes, so when you come here to show only the lower triangle, it becomes more clear. So when we look at the relationship between the we've changed it, price in thousand. So yes, so the relationship between price in thousands and sales in thousands. So here you see it changes, so we could go back to the former table. Let's come back here. So here when you look at sales in thousands, it again is here, sales in thousands. So when you look at sales and price, so it has a negative 0.35 correlation amount. And here the interpretation is that it's moderate. There's a moderate relationship. And it has a significance of which is less than 0.001. So when you read about significance further, the value of the relationship should be below 0.05 or 0.01 for that to be a relationship according to our confidence level, which show that our results are significant. So in this case, it being below 0.001, it shows that there is a relationship between price in thousands and sales in thousands. So this is to show that the price of the cars will affect the sales. So let's look at the fuel capacity. The relationship between fuel capacity and thousands and sales in thousands. So it has a correlation of 0.087, and that's a positively weak relationship. Then it has a two-tailed significance of 0.283, which is more than 0.005. So there is no significance here. That's why there are no stars. So if you come and look for the stars are able to show where there is a significance. So here, when you do the correlationship analysis, you should quickly look at those intersections where there will be those stars, whether 1 or 2, which will show a bit of a relationship. So considering this, fuel capacity with horsepower, so there is a relationship. But in our case, we were only looking at sales in thousands as our dependent variable. So we shall look at where it, so it has a relationship between price in thousands, horsepower, and length. So those are the only variables which have a relationship with sales. So looking at horsepower, it has a relationship of a correlation amount of 0.198. That's a positively weak, a negatively weak correlation, and it has a significance of 0.013, which is less than 0.05. Yeah, so it is less than 0.05, so there is a relationship between sales and horsepower. So still on the length, it has a moderate positive relationship of 0.255, and there is a significance value of which is less of 0.001, which is less than 0.01. So still here there is a relationship between sales in thousands and in length. So in this case, the variables which have a relationship with sales are price in thousands, horsepower, and length, since that was our dependent variable. So you could do the same analysis for any other variables when you're doing your research and data analysis. So to confirm whether there is an effect or an impact between these two variables, you have to run a regression analysis. So in our next session, we shall look at regression analysis in SPSS. For now, it's a bye.